I would integrate a biblical worldview in my classroom in reference to a teacher-learner relationship. The first thing that comes to mind for me is Mark 12:31, where the Bible speaks about loving people is our highest commandment. I would try to integrate that into my classroom by loving all my students each and every day, showing them love, giving them love, just like Christ has shown us love every single day. And if they ever came to me with an issue, I would try to point them in the direction that the Bible would tell us to do, whether they know it or not. So that's what I would do. When it comes to classroom management, I think you can implement a biblical worldview by just being fair to everybody in the classroom, not discriminating anybody based on any physical features. God's never really discriminated against us based on our physical features or treated one of us better than the other. And I think as a teacher, to have that implemented in your classroom is very important. Biblical worldview in reference to behavioral issues by showing grace where grace is needed. In the Bible, in Ephesians chapter 2, verses 8 and 9, it speaks a lot about how we've been given grace and how it's a gift. And I think as a teacher, we have the opportunity to dish out that grace as a gift to our students. If they ever act up in class, if they ever do something that we would see as inappropriate, just be like slow to anger and quick to forgive, I think is the best way you can handle those kind of situations. I think the way I would implement a biblical worldview in terms of creating and implementing a lesson, I think you got to plan. You got to plan and then plan some more. I think being diligent in preparation will glorify God and will further help your students. So I think just by putting your full effort forward in terms of planning a lesson is a good way to implement that.
How I would integrate a biblical worldview when it comes to teacher-learner relationships is just to be really consistent with the rules that I give out, to not make exceptions for certain students or certain days when I'm not, feeling it and stuff, just to be really consistent, because I think that's what God does in the Bible. In Deuteronomy 31:6, it talks about how I will never leave you nor forsake you. Like God, if He's anything, He is a very consistent God. And when He says something, it comes to pass. And when He says something, He means it. And so as a teacher, you need to follow that pattern and be consistent. With classroom management, I would just really try to create a safe learning environment, a learning environment where the students would feel like they could really just be themselves and learn and ask questions and not feel stupid or feel like they're being judged. And I think that that would be really important in the classroom. Behavioral issues, I would try really hard to not say things out of anger. If a student needed to be corrected, I would try and say things out of love and not out of a place of anger. It makes me think of a passage in James that talks about how you need to be slow to speak, slow to anger, and quick to hear. That you really need to kind of understand and not say things quickly out of anger. I feel like that will really help curb a lot of behavioral issues and behavioral problems. I think the key is to really be prepared. God is never surprised. He always has a plan for everything. And so I think with the creation and implementation of a lesson, just everything about the Bible, everything about creation is planned out, is thought about, is just God has a plan for everything. And so we need to, in turn, as teachers, have a plan.